Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and at least in my own local housing market, prices are being absolutely slashed and inventory is absolutely skyrocketing. So what we'll do today in this update video is I'm going to access my local MLS or multiple listing service, and I'm going to access live data, and I'm going to show you step by step on exactly what I'm personally doing in order to find the home of my dream. So we'll do a complete analysis. It will be very fast and very effective. Now, after that, I'm going to give you guys a deep, comprehensive breakdown on the new good credit tax. And we're really going to see how that works exactly now that I have the before and after comparison. Now, after that, we're going to hop on over to look at the inversion of the bonds, and we're really going to analyze on what the future will hold for us as far as historically, meaning that if we gamble with history, right? That's all really I'm doing. I'm like, history says that this is going to happen, right? But I want to dig deeper and see exactly what the bond market is telling us will happen. After that, you guys, I'm going to talk about everything interest rates. We'll look at Fred, we'll look at the 10-year, we'll look at Mortgage News Daily and figure out where we're at with interest rates. After that, I'm going to tell you guys my own personal home buying journey and where I stand with that. And then we'll end today's video with this week's member shoutouts and by crowning a new first comment champion. Now, other than that, guys, do me a favor, understand that I'm not a financial advisor, even though my bio is as a disgruntled renter, worried father, protective husband, someone, and I know, and I'm not getting better. Ever since I've been saying this, I need to get better. Someone that wants to do more dishes in my family. I want to be a servant leader in my household. And for all of those things, you guys, please like this video for your boy. Seriously, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. But one thing you need to do is buckle up because this video is going to give you guys an overwhelming amount of value. So we'll start by accessing live active MLS data. And this is something that if you're a realtor, you can do yourself for a client, or if you're watching me, you can have your realtor do this for you. So unless you have a license, this is what you should be having your realtor do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of Kingwood. Now I've chosen Kingwood and I've taken you guys through that journey for the last 10 months so that we can look at just one market. And when I started doing reports on Kingwood, remember this, I couldn't even find houses listed for $120 a square foot. So again, when I first started doing this, I couldn't even find houses listed for $100 a square foot, $120 a square foot in the Kingwood area. So where I'm going to start is let's look at the inventory so I can show you guys how much inventory growth we've had. So as you can see, this is a report up here of active listings only in Kingwood. You can see that there is a total of 79 active listings right now in the Kingwood area. And if you remember my last update video, I believe that there was 65. In other words, what we know is in the last few weeks, the active inventory count in Kingwood has gone up over 20%. Again, in the last few weeks, the local market here in Kingwood has gone up in active listings 21%. Now we want to look at days on market averages so we know the condition of the market and essentially what we can get away with as buyers. And as you can see here, this is a market analysis on 78 active listings. This is only in Kingwood and this is active. And what I want to show you guys is the active listing has 38 days on the market. However, a lot of houses get pulled off the market and put back on the market. So you can see the cumulative total average days on the market. This is the cumulative total. So the average time a house has been on the market is a whopping, you guys, 128 days. So the average home in Kingwood has been on the market 128 days. Now this sheet tells us that there are 11 listings of the 79 that have price cuts. You can see all the price cuts here on the right side. The total again is 11 of the 79 listings, which represents 14% of the total listings in my housing market that have active price cuts. So overall, I finally know that my market is surging with inventory, that there are many price cuts, and that the existing inventory has been on the market an average of 100 days, which to me as a buyer demonstrates that I can play ball and negotiate if I chose to purchase right now. But we need more data. We need to figure out in Kingwood, how much was the average price per square foot back in 2022 and 2021? And that's what this market analysis shows us. Again, it will take your realtor 5 minutes to do this. This is a market analysis on Kingwood. You can see that here. On all of the sold properties in 2022, there was a total of 516 homes that sold in Kingwood in 2022. Some important stuff to pay attention to is the average price per square foot. So in 2022, average price per square foot was $148. Average price sold was $414,000. And the size of the house was actually relatively big at $2,801. So we know 2022, $148 a square foot. But we want to go deeper. I'm going to take you guys back to 2021. Y'all may want to go back to the last 4 years, but just to 2021 again. This is a market analysis. This is for Kingwood for the entire year of 2021 for all sold properties. Total sold properties in Kingwood in 2021 was 746 homes. Now, the price per square foot was much lower in 2021 at $127.30. So now I'm equipped with data and knowledge, and now I'm ready to start researching my housing market, because what do I know? I know $148 in 2022, $127 in 2021. Homes are just sitting on the market. People are starting to price cut. Inventory is skyrocketing. So now I have a better idea of my housing market. Let's look at the active listings once again. So this is what active MLS looks like. This is why you guys should get your license, or again, use this as a way to interview your realtors. But I'm going to check active listings here. I'm only going to put Kingwood. Oh my gosh. So the inventory count has gone up to 82. So in less than 24 hours, y'all, we have 3 additional listings. Do y'all see my point? So in less than 24 hours, we have 3 more listings. I told y'all. Now remember, here's all of the active listings right now in Kingwood, but what we want to do is categorize it by price per square foot so we can get right down to what is selling for the most affordable price in Kingwood. And immediately we see one house is being sold for $90.16, y'all, a square foot. That is substantially lower than 2022 and 2021. And not only that, I can see that we have a total of 11 listings under 2021 values. Yes, that's right. Right now in Kingwood, 11 listings selling for under 2021 averages right now. But what we'll do is we're going to do an analysis on the one property, the home that's selling for the cheapest amount per square foot. And we're going to start penciling this house out right here to see if it makes sense to purchase. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hyper local on my data now. Now that I have an overall picture of Kingwood, we then have to do research on the subject property subdivision. So now I'm going to start doing a similar analysis on only that subject property subdivision, a market analysis on prices, and a market analysis on the rental market, because y'all know my strategy is to purchase a house at 10% down, conventional mortgage, paying all the PMI up front, and still being able to cash flow at 75% of the median rent. That's just my strategy. I can do whatever I want. That's my strategy. But again, we're going to customize our market analysis now to go hyper local in that subject property subdivision, which is called North Kingwood Forest. So as you can see, this is a market analysis for sold properties for the entire year of 2022 for the subdivision of North Kingwood Forest. There was a total of 11 sold properties in 2022. Look at this, y'all. This is crazy. The average price per square foot, $142.53. What's our price per square foot on our subject property? Do y'all remember? $90. This is $50 under price per square foot. However, you have to also remember, the bigger the house, the lower the price per square foot. In this subdivision, look at how small houses are. 2,032 average, 2,032 square feet. Our subject property is 3,600 square feet, FYI. But in 2022, we can see that it's basically following Kingwood. It's slightly underperforming. Here's the market analysis for the entire year of 2021 for North Kingwood Forest. A total of 15 sold properties. You guys can see it's kind of keeping pace with Kingwood. The average home sold for $121 in the year of 2021. Average square footage, less than 2,000 square feet. Again, remember, I'm saying this all the time, the subject property is 3,600 square feet. But so far, we can see, and I'm showing you with data, that house is listed for well under 2021 value. Now we're going to do a market analysis on the rental market. You guys can see this is a market analysis. This is for rentals for the entire year of 2022 in North Kingwood Forest. Again, hyper local. So 22 homes listed for rent. Now the average price per square foot is $1. So in 2022, average price per square foot is $1. But again, look at the average square footage, 2,000 square feet. That means my subject property is significantly bigger. Now, here's a market analysis for North Kingwood Forest for 2021. And the shocking thing is, rent was higher in 2021 in that subdivision. So it was $102 a square foot in that subdivision. But at least now, you guys, we have some of the data necessary to figure out whether or not we can cash flow. So what's the next thing that we do? We need to run the numbers. So what I'm going to do to run the numbers is I'm just going to go to Google and I'm going to type in mortgage payment calculator to see what my payment would be if I purchased that home. Here's our mortgage calculator from Google. I click this box to include taxes and insurance. I'm estimating a $330,000 price. I put 10% down, as you can see here. And you can see here, I pay all the PMI up front, so my payment's lower. And I also have an additional tax deduction. I also updated the property taxes to $8,800 a year. Yes, property taxes in Texas is outrageous. Now, Google automatically calculated this interest rate of 6.7. But what this means is in my strategy, my payment, if I purchased that house, would be $2,085 per month. But remember, I'm telling you guys, if possible, even if it's your primary, I don't care. You want to see if you can cash flow in the event you got to move, but you can't sell your house because you're trapped in it. So let me show you now how that works. So we'll pull up this calculator. Let's put in the square footage of the home, which is 3,660. Now, I'm going to calculate 75% of median rent. So if we know median rent is $1, 75% of that is 75 cents. So I'm going to multiply this by 75 cents instead of the dollar. Again, I'm just doing this an added safeguard. So I multiply that by 0.75. And let's see if I cash flow. As you can see here that I am close to cash flowing, but I am not cash flowing. The difference in payment is $40, meaning the subject property is $40 higher than what my rent would be if I rented that out at 75%. So I've given you guys all the tools to do that on yourself, except for MLS Access. If you're a realtor, maybe follow those steps and help your clients. If you're someone that wants to buy a house, have them watch this portion of the video and say, give me exactly what Real Estate Mindset just showed you, but in the market that I'm interested in purchasing it. So now we'll do a thorough deep dive into the good credit tax and what exactly that means, who's benefiting and who's really paying the price. Now, first, what I want to do is let me show you the before picture, and then I'll show you the after picture of what's called LLPAs, which is basically a fee that's charged to you. And let me explain how interest rates work. It's not about the interest rate. It's about the price. It's the pricing that changes every single day. I could still get people a 4% interest rate, but in order to get the interest rate, they got to pay $40,000 because that's the price of the 4%. So it's the pricing that adjusts, not necessarily the interest rate. So first of all, here's the original LLPA. And I want to point out that the original LLPAs only went to 740 FICO score. You can see that's the top tier here. And also it went all the way down to sub 620 credit scores. The reason I'm pointing that out is they've removed this tier. So if you have under 620 credit score, they've actually removed that tier, and the pricing here was rough. It was rough if you look at these pricing adjustments, and I'm going to show you how to calculate that in a minute. Now that, again, they've added 2 tiers on top of this. So let me show you the after. All right, so here's the after version of the LLPAs. And what I am highlighting here is basically I highlighted these 2 tiers. These are 2 new tiers right here of credit. So, to break this down for you guys, if your credit score is above 760, you're going to get out of this relatively unscratched. But if your credit score is here, and I highlighted this in yellow, between 720 and 759, you're going to take the biggest hit. You're still going to get a hit at 700 to 719, but the biggest hit, the biggest people are going to get taxed is right here. 720 to 759 credit score. And now what I've done is I've highlighted in green the improvements in pricing, and I've highlighted in yellow the worsening of pricing. So you can see that the majority of the worsening of pricing is LTV between 75% and 90%. So any LTV between 70%, 90%, if your credit is 688 to 759, you're going to be taxed. Look at, see all those yellows? So most of the yellow is in that tier. So I'm going to try now to break down how that pricing affects interest rates. So I'll pull up something in a minute here, but what I want to explain is, in a nutshell, if your credit is between 700 and 759 and your LTV is between 75 and 90%, you're going to take a hit. And a lot of those hits, unfortunately, is a hit of 75 basis points, or 0.75% on whatever your loan amount is. So that's extra, right? It's a pretty big hit, y'all. That is a pretty big hit for having good credit, in my opinion. Now, if your credit score is under 680, you win big here. There's no disputing that. If for all sub 680 credit scores, it's pretty much across the board, you're paying a lot less in fees. Now, remember, it's about pricing, not interest rate. Okay, so pricing, not interest rate. So I want you guys to pay attention to the rate and the price. So the rates are 5%, 4%, and 3%. But if you look to the right, there's another column that's titled price. You can see that 5% has a price of 1.5. That represents a rebate. That means if I take the 5% that I get back credited towards my closing costs, 1.5% of the loan amount. And if the loan amount's $400,000, that means that I would get $6K back at 5%. So what we know is 5% as of right now, before the pricing adjustments, would give me a credit. So I'm going to put a plus of $6,000. Okay. Now the 4% represents what we call par. The par rate is what you qualify for free. Okay, so the 4% is the par rate. That's a cost of 0. Now that 3% right there has a negative 1.5, which means to get the 3%, it will cost you $6,000. So 3% will cost you, there's a negative right there, right? $6,000. Okay, do y'all see how that works? So without pricing adjustments, that's how that works. So now quickly let me hop back over to the other form and let's take a pricing adjustment. So let's imagine that right now we have a 720 credit score. Okay, so here's the 720 credit score row, and we're gonna have a whopping 20% down. Okay, so 20% down, 720 credit score, has a fee of 1.25. Now, originally that fee, y'all, was 50 basis points. Now it's 125 basis points, which means it's 75% higher than it used to be. So we're going to take 125 basis points. So what we do is we put our pricing like this. Okay, so negative 1.25. Okay, that's where I'm at right now after the new pricing adjustment. So what does that tell us? This tells us if we want a 5% interest rate. So if I take a 5%, okay, this means that I'm going to get a rebate of 0.25%, because the difference of 1.25 and a positive 1.50 is 0.25. So that 0.25 plus is going to yield me $1,000. So instead of getting $6,000 back, I'm now getting $1,000 back. Now, if I take the 4%, okay, remember the 4% was for free. It was at par, but now I have to add this. Remember, this is what I have to add now. So now the 4% costs me, so I'll put a negative here, 1.25%, or a cost of, I'll put a negative $5,000. Do y'all see how this is working? Okay, so if we took that 3%, because remember, I could still give people 3%, but and this is just an example, okay? So we add the negative 1.25 to the negative 1.5, which gives us a negative 2.75, okay, which equals negative $11,000. So hopefully I didn't lose you guys right there. It's a little bit hard to explain how pricing works. If I had you guys like in person, I can show you, it would be a little bit different, but I hope that makes sense. It's not about the interest rate. It's about the pricing. It's the pricing that changes every single day, not the interest rates. Let's hop onto the treasury and bond markets. We can look at a couple economic indicators that are spelling out that we're headed for doom and that more pain is incoming. And I really feel like it's important to understand that because we are not off this ride yet. We are still going through a correction, quantitative tightening. Although the bank bailout, you can argue it's not, and then raising of the interest rates. So take a look and remember, anytime the 10-year is lower than the short-term financing, it's an inversion. So take a look at a couple of these graphs. All right, so starting with the 10-year versus 2-year, this is Fed economic data. And again, what I want to point out is the inversion here leading to the recession of 1980. Inversion here leading to the recession of 1982. Inversion here, ultimately followed by a recession in 1990. Inversion here, followed by recession. Inversion here, recession, inversion, recession. And look at how inverted we are right now. And, here's what I wanted to point out, because a lot of people are saying that we're going to start a recession when the 10-year is no longer inverted. Because you can see here, we didn't go into recession until it inverted back. Same with here, it inverted back and then recession. Same thing here, it inverted back and then recession. But what I wanted to point out is this. That didn't happen in the 1980s. In the 1980s, we stayed inverted while still being in recession. So the same thing could be possible now, which means we could be in recession now, even though everything is still inverted. And that again was in the 1980s. Now take a look at the 10-year versus 3 months. So this is the 10-year inversion of the 3 month. What I want to point out here is the same thing. It inverted, went back up, recession, inverted, re-inverted, recession, inverted, re-inverted, recession, except here. We actually had back in 2020, the 10-year and 3 month was inverted and we still entered recession. And again, the reason I'm bringing that up is there's so much noise, there's so much yelling. That is a historical indicator that we're headed for recession. Now, generally the inversion reverses and goes positive, but I wanted to show you both the 2-year and the 3 month. There were periods where we still went into recession and they were inverted. Now, let's hop into everything interest rates. All right, so hopping back into Fed economic data, here's the chart for the 30-year fixed rate mortgages. A lot of people have said, oh, rates have been this high, but when rates were this high last, y'all, the median sales price was under $200,000. But for the last 20 years or 2 decades, they're actually pretty high. All right, so here's the 1-year view, and we've been sitting in the pocket of 6 to 7% interest rates, y'all, since September 15th. So we've been in 6 to 7% this entire time. What's with all the pandemonium, am I right? But what's important to note is it did go up from 6.27 to 6.39 in 1 week. So week over week, it did go up. Now, one of the things that we can watch to figure out what's going to happen next with 30-year fixed rate mortgages is the 10-year treasury. And as you guys can see right now, that 10-year treasury is down almost 6 basis points. And more than likely that will translate into an updated interest rate sheet that is lower than what it is now. So again, if you all want to watch what's going to happen with mortgage rates, watch that 10-year treasury. So now I want to go over my own personal home buying journey. You guys know that currently I'm renting and I'm waiting to find the deal of my dreams. And you guys, here's the thing. I'm really stressed out right now. I mean, I'm halfway depressed on what I'm going through right now. I'm so stressed out. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm always on MLS. I'm overwhelmed in data. And I am so frustrated right now because I want to desperately be a homeowner again and start building my wealth. But remember, even with the depression, even with the anxiety, I still am smart enough to know that house prices are overvalued right now and things are changing for the better if you're on the sideline like me, which means inventory increases, price decreases. But here's where I'm at. I've been able to find 3 properties. I showed you guys one that basically pencil out. So I found 3 properties right now active that are not only almost penciling out the one I just showed you, but are also substantially under 2021 values. So I found 3 properties in my market under 2021 values. The reason I'm not going to make an offer on that, a couple reasons. The first reason is this party has just started. If I'm already seeing multiple listings for under 2021 values, what's going to happen in June and July? There's going to be way more inventory. So I'm going to hold and I'm not going to buy the first thing that comes on the market that's going to cash flow because now I see great signs of things to come. But I'm still looking every single day for a house. I'm maintaining excellent credit, pretty much zero debt, and I'm saving as much money as possible so that I can maintain my purchasing power through a potential recession. So credit, income, and assets are all being improved. But not only that, I've already gone through the pre-qualification process, which means my information was sent and already gone through underwriting. All of my income documents, all of my credit documents, my saving documents, it's already been reviewed, and I can make an offer right now and close on the house in 30 days. I could do that right now because I'm properly pre-qualified. Now, you guys know that the person that I would use if I wasn't already a loan officer is Jennifer Rader. She is an incredibly brilliant loan officer who's not all pushy. So I absolutely love her, you guys. And I will have her information linked in the description of this video if you guys need more information on Texas and mortgage financing. But all in all, you guys, I'm struggling, man. I know what I'm doing is the right thing. I know the data is improving. I'm starting to see some houses, so I'm getting excited. But overall, I do not like renting, and I'm just being honest with you. Now, let's go into something a lot more fun. Let's do this week's shout outs. And now this week, I'm gonna do 2 shout outs, y'all, because I think the second person is warranted a little bit of respect. Defending champion, still defended the title, Dave Blackman, sir. Congratulations. Once again, you're the champion. This dude is honestly, I don't think Deuster could, even if Deuster came out of retirement, he can't catch Dave. Dave is an absolute beast, but there's an additional number 2. Second place goes to, oh, look here, Melissa. Melissa, I had to give you a shout out. I see how hard you try. I mean, Melissa's always like 1 or 2 seconds behind Dave. So Melissa, you're number 2. Dave, congratulations, sir. You're number 1. Champion. Now, I also wanted to give a shout out to all of my members. You guys know I charge 99 cents if you want to become a member. I want to do stuff more valuable. Right now, it's just about all of my insecurities, but I wanted to give a shout out to all of these supporters because they have been supporting my channel for 6 months and finally have the colored brain. So to all of y'all, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Here's the second page of all the supporters. Again, you guys, thank you for your 6 months of support. That means a lot to me. Now, in conclusion, there is so much value on this video. I want you guys to bookmark it, save it, come back here and learn how to let the data find the deal. We need to remove emotion and add data and logic. Now, other than that, guys, if you're out there investing in real estate, you know I wish you luck and I hope you win.